Hey y'all, just want to do a very quick review on The Poppy War by RF Kuang. This is the first book in the series, and thank you to Leslie at The Nerdy Narrative and Lizy at Copperfish Books for sending me this series. This book was incredible. 5 out of 5 stars, one of the best books I've read this year. It was just so good, as Alan at the Library of Alexandria would say. If you haven't checked out Leslie's channel yet, I'll link it here. Go check it out. Subscribe. She is just fantastic. One of my favorite people I've met this year. And also Lizy at Copperfish Books. I'll link their website here. They're a great indie bookstore located down in Florida, but they ship all over across the country. And Lizy is just fantastic. So on to The Poppy War. Like I said, 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. So in this book we follow Rin, who's our protagonist, and she has just learned that she's got basically these special powers, and she goes to the military academy and learns and trains and grows at the academy as she's learning the history of her people and her country and her powers and everything along with it. And although Rin is an unlikable character by the end of the book, she does still grow. And that's all I can say about that without giving away spoilers. If you want to see spoilers or my chapter-to-chapter thoughts, check out my reading vlog. I'll have that posted here as well. So I thought the pacing in this book was just perfect. There was a lot of information dumped on us, and there was a lot of history and strategy and politicking going on in this book, but it didn't feel like it. It didn't drag like some other books do, and it all felt necessary to and just part of the story. Like, it wasn't just filler chapters to get us to the next action scene. It was all necessary in the story, and I think that's part of it is because it was mostly Rin learning it at the academy, and so we saw it in dialogue and character development and character relationships, and so it all felt like it was necessary in this book. My favorite character in the book, I think, was Jing, who was Rin's master at the academy, and he was just so chill and so cool and so wise. He really tried to help Rin, but she just didn't want to hear it. She thought he was just that crazy professor that everyone makes fun of, and his ways were just not enough for her. He wasn't teaching her what she wanted to learn. He was teaching her what she needed to learn instead of what she wanted to. But Jing was just so cool. I loved his character. And so some of the quotes that I pulled out from this, there's a bunch because this writing is just so good. So the first quote says, "The thing about watching someone get high was that if you weren't getting high yourself, things got very boring very soon." And if you've ever been around someone getting high, you know exactly what this is referring to. It's so true. And it just made me laugh when I read that, which does not happen often in this book. The Poppy War is a very serious book, but it has some few comedy bits in there. The next quote says, "War doesn't determine who's right, war determines who remains." And this is so true, and something that a lot of people forget about. When you go to war, when there's war called on another country, people think that your country is the one that's right because we're defending what we think is right. But really, at the end of it all, war just determines who's still alive. That's all it does. And so that was just a really insightful quote. That's super important, especially to this book, but in life in general. The next quote says, "It sounded like a steel blade dragged against the ancient stone of the mountain." And this is talking about one of the characters' voices, and I loved this quote because you can hear that voice exactly as it's described just by listening to that one quote. The writing is so detailed that you don't need anything else besides that short phrase to know exactly how his voice sounds. The next quote, and I only got 2 more, so bear with me. "Revenge will only bring you pain." And that's just like the quote on war. It's so true, and something that a lot of people forget about. They're always out to get revenge on someone that did them wrong. But at the end of the day, what is revenge really gonna do for you? It brings you pain, it brings other people pain, and it just drugs up past pain. It doesn't really solve a lot of problems, even though you might think it does. Next time you think, I need to get revenge on this person, take a moment and think, what is this going to actually achieve? And that's what that quote from the latter half of that book really brought home to me. And then the last quote that I've brought out of this book, The Poppy War, is a very hard-hitting quote, but it's so important to this book, and especially the ending. And now the unrealized futures of millions were scorched out of existence, like a sky full of stars suddenly darkened. And I can't say a lot about this quote right now because it would give away spoilers, but if you've read The Poppy War, you'll know exactly what this quote is talking about. And if you haven't read Poppy War, you need to pick it up. So Poppy War by RF Kuang. This book was so amazing. One of the best books that I've read this year. Will definitely be on my top books list that I do for 2020. And I can't wait to start in on book 2, which is back there. I believe it's the Dragon Republic is book 2, and then the Burning God is book 3. No, the Burning God is book 2. Dragon Republic is book 3. I can't wait to get into both of those. Leslie says they just get better as the books go on, and I trust whatever Leslie says. So I can't wait to get into that in January. And that's my review now. 5 out of 5 stars. I would give it 6, 7 stars if I could, but the stars only go up to 5. One of the best books I've read this year. The Poppy War by RF Kuang. Go pick it up now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell all your friends, and keep reading.